It is the third week of August, 1863. Union forces are advancing through the swamps in the direction of Fort Pemberton. And in Morris Island, the next objective is Fort Johnson. Both sides have no military support points left from previous weeks. And last week saw the first incursion of Union ironclads into Charleston Harbor. We roll 1d6 for each side on the MSP table. The Union will receive 4 MSPs as well as the Confederates. Press the record button. The Confederates have the advantage this week. The Union receives Gordon's brigade and the ironclad Lehigh. And the Lehigh appears in Port Royal. Gordon Brigade appears in the island's off-map box, ready for amphibious movement. Gordon's brigade is automatically in command. The Union will spend an MSP to activate Foster's brigade. The Union will activate 5 ironclads at Port Royal. The Union has 2 MSPs left. Now the Confederates allocate MSPs to place units in command. And the Confederates will place Cobb's brigade in command. And the Confederates have 2 MSPs left. Now we move on to the operations phase. First, Union impulse. The Union activates Foster's brigade. Foster's brigade moves into L15 and declares an assault against Evans' brigade. The Union has a +9 die roll modifier, the Confederates a +7. And now we roll 2d6. The Union rolled a 2 modified to a 11. Let me do that again. The Union rolls a 2 modified to an 11. The Confederates a 7 modified to an 14. So the Confederates win this battle. And the Union has to sustain 3 casualty points. And Foster retreats roughly half of his brigade to L14. And that's the end of the first Union impulse. Now we move on to the first Confederate impulse. The Confederates activate Evans' brigade for the purpose of entrenching at L15. It's the end of the first impulse. Now we move on to the second Union impulse. The Union activates the ironclads at Port Royal. The Union ironclads appear at S6 and they move into S7. Now we proceed with the minefield attack, and the first ironclad is the Nantucket. We roll 2d6. Now we resolve the minefield attack against the ironclads. First the Nantucket, and there's a +2 die roll modifier. The roll is an 11 modified to a 13. And the Nantucket is damaged and has to be removed to Port Royal. Next is the Lehigh. Roll is a 7 modified to a 9, no effect. Next is the Patapsco. Roll is a 7, also modified to a 9, no effect. Next is the Nahant. Roll is a 4, modified to a 6, no effect. And finally the Montauk. The roll is an 8, modified to a 10, close call but no effect. Now the ironclads will bombard And they start with the Lehigh, firing on Fort Sumter. Fort Sumter defends with double its defense value, 8, and the Union has a +4 die roll modifier. We roll 2d6, and the roll is an 8 modified to a 12, and Fort Sumter's defenses are destroyed. Now it's the Patapsco's turn, and it will fire at the Chicora. Defends with an 8. We roll 2d6. Roll is a 6 modified to a 9. That's greater than double the defense of the Chicora, so the Chicora is reduced. Next is the Nahant. With a +2 die roll modifier, will fire at the Chicora, now with a total defense of 6. The roll is an 8 modified to a 10, and the Chicora is sunk. That's the end of the Union second impulse. The Union has no MSPs left. The Confederates have 1 and the advantage. And the Confederates activate Cobb's brigade for strategic movement. And the brigade moves into L22 and through L19, passing through L18, where Fort Pemberton is located, and continuing with the cavalry moving into L15 and ending its move in L13. That's the end of the Confederate second impulse. That's the end of the second impulse. The Union has to pass because it has no MSPs. The Confederates will now use their advantage to activate a previously activated formation. That clip. And the Confederates will conduct a regroup action with Cobb's brigade. And Cobb's brigade will regroup at L13. That's the end of the third Confederate impulse and the end of the operations phase, since none of the sides have any more MSPs. Now we go to the end phase and we remove the commitment markers. Because the Union ironclads sunk the Chicora, now we remove the Confederate minefield marker from S7. Now we proceed to random events. The roll is an 8. Union signals red. The Confederate player can either take the advantage marker from the Union player in the next turn, which is a turn in which the Union is scheduled to have the advantage marker, so that's a good option, or decrease the sunset dice roll for all impulses by 1 in the next turn. And the Confederates choose to have the advantage during the next week. And now we move on to the 4th week of August 1863. Fort Sumter's is in shambles, and the Charleston Harbor defenses have begun to unravel. In James Island, however, strong Confederate forces have begun to concentrate and slow down the Union push toward Fort Pemberton. So stick around for the next episode of A Gate of Hell. This is Stuka Joe, signing off for now. Thanks for watching.